Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know it's been ages. I'm not going to talk too long, but yeah, I'm back and I'm ready to film again. This is my first YouTube video since God knows when. But yeah, I hope that you enjoy watching how I created this makeup look, and also I actually go into details about a recent documentary on Netflix. I hope that you don't mind me sharing that story with you. So if you haven't watched it yet, you don't want any spoilers, then I suggest that you don't continue to watch this video. But if you want to know the story without watching it, then carry on. Enjoy guys. I'm just going to quickly do my base. So I'm not doing anything in particular. I'm just going to do it as I normally would. I'm using the liquid foundation. I bought this one from Amazon and it is in the colour tan. So I was actually watching, I've been watching a lot of documentaries and stuff on Netflix. One of the most recent ones that I watched was actually last night. To be honest, it has left me thinking all about the Watts family. It's hang on, do you know what guys, let me show you what it's called. Netflix. Okay, so guys, it's called American Murder Family Next Door. I actually remember this story pretty clearly from like back when it happened, and I always remember thinking, oh, he couldn't have killed his own children, like he just couldn't have done that. Like, he had two little girls, one called Bella and one called Cece, I think. And they were so adorable. One was like literally a baby. I'm sure she was like 1 or 2 years old. And then the other one was, I don't know exactly how old, but I'm sure she was like under 5 years old. And the prick killed his wife and his 2 daughters. And tried to blame the murders of his 2 daughters on his wife, and then he tried to use that as an excuse as to why he killed her. Basically a load of shit. They had been married for like 8 years, and like guys, he was an absolute bitch. Like, he ended up having an affair. He was with his wife Shannon for 8 years. So Shannon's job was actually on social media, so she worked from home. I think she used to sell products or something. That might not be a fact. Yeah, so she spent most of her time documenting herself and her children. She did a lot of lives, and I know for a fact that her Instagram is actually still live at the moment as well. It's like a memorial, sorry, her Facebook, it's like a memorial kind of one, so it still exists, and like you can actually go and see all of her pictures and stuff on it. So Chris, the bitch, he had an affair while she was working away, and she already felt like, you know, things weren't going well in her marriage. So whilst she was actually away for 6 weeks, everything in their marriage changed significantly, so much so that like she would tell all of her friends, like in messages. It was all like as part of the evidence against Chris. She ended up coming back and she suspected that he was seeing someone else, which he actually was. So he was seeing another woman called Nicole. Was a weird, very weird and strange woman. In the documentary, they haven't actually put too much about Nicole in it. They haven't actually like focused on her at all. But I'm not sure whether she had anything to do with the actual murder. But to me, I just feel like maybe, I don't know, maybe she put it in his head, because he got worried about how's he going to leave his wife, what about the children. And to top it all off, in one of Shannon's live videos, no, not lives, I'm not sure whether it was live or not, she's actually posted how she told Chris that she was pregnant and expecting a baby, and his reaction in the video was really, really strange. Like, if you watch it, you can just see that he's not very happy at all. So she went away for the weekend and she left the 2 children with Chris. So I think on one of those nights he actually went out with his lover, and I think he must have used maybe a shared card, and Shannon actually got, or Shannon, and then she got a statement and it told her exactly like where we'd been, kind of thing. So when she come home, I think her friend dropped her off. Her friend knew that she had a doctor's appointment in the morning at like 9, and I think she was quite worried about Shannon because of the fact that, so that's what you gotta do with the Huda. And look, I've got an eyelash stuck to the end. Oh my god, my eyelashes get everywhere. Yeah, so her friend had dropped her home, but her friend knew that Shannon wasn't feeling very good at the time. Like, she was feeling really down because Chris hadn't been paying her attention, and like he was really off. And then obviously finding out that he'd been out and he spent more money than the menu had like said, considering it was just him that went to get food apparently. So obviously she's got all these questions in her mind, and her friend knows that, you know, she's feeling really, really, really down. So her friend tried to contact her the next morning. Take note that her friend also knew that Shannon had a doctor's appointment at 9 AM in the morning. So when Shannon didn't get in touch with her, she actually came round to the house, and then she found out also that she didn't turn up for her doctor's appointment. Fuck. Excuse my language. The joys of baking. So she found out also that she didn't turn up for her doctor's appointment, which was really weird. She also noticed that even though Chris had said, "Why are you at my house?" because there's front door cameras, her friend had noticed Shannon's car was still in the garage, and Chris had made out that she had gone to a play date or party or something, like a kids party, but obviously noticing that the car is still there with the children's car seats, she obviously knew that, you know what, that's just an absolute bollocks of a lie. So her being suspectful, she said to Chris, I'm worried, I'm gonna phone the police. And he wasn't happy with that at all. He was like, no, don't phone the police. In the end, obviously she did phone the police, and she asked them to come round to do a welfare check. So the police did end up coming round, to which Chris himself actually came back to the house, and you can see him, like, he runs over to the officer, shakes his hand like nothing could ever happen, like normal. And then he goes into the house, he lets the officers in. He's just acting really, I don't know, it's like almost like he's trying to act normal, but then he's not being normal at the same time. So then he goes around the house, and then her friend finds her phone, and her friend immediately knows that, you know what, this is not my friend. Like, her life is literally on social media, so there's no way that even if she did take the kids out, like, she documents so much, she wouldn't leave her phone at home. So obviously that's made her friend even more suspicious. And then one of the neighbours calls the police around as well, just to let them know that he has some CCTV. Chris has to leave his van outside on the road because Shannon is very particular about where it is, because apparently it's just messy on the drive. So he usually, in fact all the time, he leaves it on the road. But on this occasion, his neighbour had actually noticed that the van or the truck had actually been on and off his drive at about 5 in the morning, or throughout that night quite a bit. So about 3 times it had been on and off, and Chris had been loading something into the van. The neighbours obviously shown the footage to the police, and you can actually see from the police cam Chris standing there, and you can see he's getting so agitated. You can see he's really scared. To me, that is such a significant thing. Like, you can just tell that He's obviously hiding something. And then as Chris actually goes into another room, the neighbour actually plays the tape again for the police officer, and he just says, look, he's never ever like that chatty, like he's not like that as a person, because at the time he was being like really talkative to the neighbour, and the neighbour was like, that's not how he normally acts, like that is not him. And the police officer was like, well, he's going through something kind of thing, and maybe that's just the way he's dealing with it. And the neighbour was like, no, he's never normally like that. And then he was like, oh, and he was loading stuff in and out of the van, and like, he never does that at that time, etc. So obviously in the end he's denying any kind of like any clue of where she is. He even goes to the extent where he's messaged his wife's phone and been like, oh, where are you, please come home, blah 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 blah. And he actually tells the officers that them two had a really deep talk regarding their relationship. When asked, he said he was suspectful that Shannon might have cheated, and when asked if he was, he replied no. They then asked him if they could do a lie detector test, which he agreed to. Why not just turn around and tell them, look, you know what, I have done it, instead of lying straight to like someone's face about your own babies. Like, you know what's happened, and you're gonna go and make yourself look like an even bigger evil prick than you already are. I'm sorry, but that is just even more evil, that you're gonna go and take a lie detector and you actually think you're gonna get away with it. So he went and had his polygraph, whatever you call them, and then it turns out that he's lied through his teeth. Obviously, I think even the policewoman, she knew, the one that conducted the test, she even knew that, you know what, he's chatting shit. She even said, anyone that is going to come in here and do this knowing full well that they're lying is very dumb. And he still went ahead with it. Like, he didn't even like say, oh, you know what, I need to stop, I'm not going to go ahead with it, I need to admit what I've done, blah blah blah. But no, he just continued. Once the test had been done, they had told him after the test was done, look, you changed shit and you failed every bit of it. He then asked for his dad to come in. So when his dad came in, his dad was like really concerned, and he was like, look, just tell me, like, you know, what is going on. And in the end he just was like, oh yeah, this happened, I saw her strangling the kids or something. I feel, and my hubby feels, like the police kind of told him, like, did she do it? Did she do that to the children? So I feel like that just got into his head, and then he kind of come up with the story of, yeah, that's what happened. And his dad was kind of like probing him as well, and like kind of egging him on a little bit, just to come out with something like that. That's how I felt anyway. So he come out with, she found out about the affair, and then that led to him therefore blacking out or going on a mad one and strangling her, and he didn't know what to do. He panicked, and then he like buried them. That was his story. But when they actually found the two little girls, he'd actually put them in where he worked. He put them in like an oil tank. He literally stuffed them in an oil tank. I don't know how you could do that to your own children. And also with Shannon, he actually buried her near to the oil tanks where her daughters had been put. The police obviously did all their post-mortems, or whatever you call them, and the results of that was that they'd all been strangled to death. I mean, sorry, the girls had been smothered, and I think Shannon had been strangled. That absolutely went against what he initially said, that Shannon had actually strangled them. So everyone knew he was lying. But in the end, he come out with he didn't know what to do. I think that he strangled Shannon in her sleep because he felt like it was a way out for him, like a way to just be with his mistress instead of like someone normal, like you just get a divorce. No, he wanted to go and completely get rid of his life, his whole marriage. He was just a bitch, basically. In the end of the documentary, towards the end, they were saying that the family were like, she would never have not put up a fight, so they even believe that she must have been asleep. Plus she was found face down in the bed with the little ones. He then admitted that he took Shannon in the car, put her on the floor, wrapping her up in her own blanket, in her bed sheet, and the children had been asking what had happened to mummy, and one by one he smothered both of them. I think they must have fell asleep and he just ended their lives. It's really, like, I don't know how anyone could ever do something disgusting like that. But for some reason, I mean, that documentary, I'd already knew the story, but I didn't know the ins and outs. It was totally something different because you get to see everything that Shannon herself had documented, just like normal everyday life. She looked like a beautiful mum. She looked and sounded like she's quite bossy. But all in all, to me, it felt like she was a very deep person, and she'd already had like one marriage that had failed. It was very short. I don't know, like, you know, and you just can feel that someone's got a really good heart. And I think she was a very misunderstood person because she come across as quite a strong person, but I think deep down she wasn't that strong. Like, she was strong, but she wasn't. Like, I think because she'd been through so much before and she had an illness as well. I just feel like she did her best, you know, and she had a big heart on her. And I think everything that she did, she even wrote a letter before he killed her to say, like, you know, I really want to make things work, blah blah blah. And despite all that, he still ended up doing what he did. So even though Nicole had googled a load of shit about, like, oh, I think it was someone had apparently murdered, there was a murder that happened where some guy killed his wife to be with a girl. I don't know this is a fact, this is what I've heard. It's probably not the correct story, but around about. So she had been googling, like, the woman's net worth. Like, this woman was a mistress, and she wrote a book, and she'd been googling all about, like, how much this woman's made and stuff. So obviously she wanted to have some kind of fame from what had happened because she was the mistress. She didn't get found guilty for anything. Like, she didn't even, like, I didn't think she even got sent to court or anything. She didn't get arrested. But she sounded like a psycho anyway. Just from all the things that I've heard, she actually sounded like a fucking psycho. I don't actually normally swear, but when I'm upset or angry, I do a little bit. I actually need to stop talking now because I don't even know what I'm doing with my look. But guys, yeah, I do recommend going to watch it, but I also recommend have some tissues by you. It is a trigger. If you are going to watch it, just know the story. It is very, very deep. Yeah. I know that Chris he avoided the death penalty by pleading guilty to all accounts of murder. But yeah, he's serving life in prison now. Personally, I think that, I mean, if you look at the start of the video, you can see that he's not fat, but he's chubby, like, compared to how he was when he murdered the family. So I just feel like maybe he lost weight and then got some kind of boost and decided that, you know what, let me just, I don't know, like, he lived a different life than, or he become the person that he always maybe dreamt of being, and then got himself into a mental situation. I don't know, but yeah. Let me know if you do watch it. Please let me know what your opinions are. That's actually all I've been doing, like, recently, is watching, like, documentaries. And like Madeline, I've been following her case despite knowing that there are so many other cases out there. I have been following her case for like years. But yeah, I'm really into like all these kind of true real crime documentaries. true story that I watched on Netflix, if you're a Netflix person, was Room. That is such a good film, and it is based on a true story as well, so I recommend that you go and watch that. Okay, so I'm just gonna continue doing my makeup. It's amazing how fast time goes whilst you're talking. Going into my crease, and then I'm just kind of blending it upwards. So I'm gonna go back in with the darker orange because I feel like this eye has got more of that. It's probably because I got into my talking mode. I feel like this one has more and this one has less, so I'm going to go back in and try and correct that. So I've really dabbed my brush and I'm just going to tap. I'm only going to go in the areas that I feel that it needs it. There's always one eye that is better than the other, and today it's this eye that is better than the other. Eyebrow wise and eyeshadow wise. So now I've just tapped off any excess and I'm just blending it together. I'm now going to use a lighter brown beige just to kind of blend this area out. I actually haven't done a proper makeup look in ages. I'm usually like sticking to just kind of soft, subtle, no makeup look. I'm going to go in with a smaller brush, just a smaller one. I'm going to try and round this area off a little bit more into like a smokier shade. It looks a mess at the moment, guys, but they say trust the process, and it literally is. I couldn't describe it any better. I always do it under my lip as well, just to give that oomph. I'm just gonna blend my nose contour, and I'm just using my contour brush that I use to contour my cheeks and wherever. And I'm just gonna use my Huda Beauty baking powder, and this is all I do to blend. I kind of scrunch it just to get the angle right, and then I like to just go up and down. So for my cheeks, I'm gonna go for some like bright pink blush, and the reason I'm doing that is because I'm gonna bake over it anyway. I kind of want it to look quite flushed, kind of, I don't know, bake a little bit around this area, so I'm just going to take off that excess. So I'm going for quite a flawless under eye, so topping up the baking powder. Hey guys, I'm using my Huda Beauty liquid liner. It is the Huda Beauty Life Liner. If you're kind of not very familiar with putting liquid liner on, then I would always advise to go in small doses kind of thing, so very small lines and then build it up. So you can just start by going right down into the lash line and then just kind of like putting it on. The key is don't worry about it basically, and just go for it. Just have a little bit more confidence in yourself, because I think when you panic over something it tends to go quite wrong in general. That's what happens with me anyway. I'm gonna go in with my eyeliner into my waterline. If you can see immediately how putting eyeliner into the waterline actually makes, it creates, I don't know, it creates more of a closed eye. Not a closed eye because it still looks nice, but yeah, this side is more like poppy, whereas this side is very now like, I don't know, it's sealed. Yeah. That's why normally I like to open my eyes up a little bit more, because I do feel like my eyes aren't as big as I want them to be. So I basically decided to go for something under the eyes. So now I have my lashes on. They're very full lashes, but I do want to kind of center my eyes. That doesn't even make sense. Okay, so I'm gonna go for some kind of shades under the eyes, but I'm just going to go for a light smoky brown. So you can already see the difference. Now that I've done that, I don't want the line to be defined. I want it to be quite airy fairy. So I'm going to go in with my baking powder on the same brush that I used, took off the excess, and I'm just going to go under the line. Like, I think we all struggle with one or two things when it comes to makeup, no matter how good you are. And this, the under the eye shading, is definitely something that I really struggle with. I don't know why, I just feel like I always make it too defined. I like using this a lot, especially towards like the eyebrow area here. I tend, no matter what kind of eyeshadow I do, if I do like a simple look, I always end up going to like warm the eye up with my contour palette. This is the 8H Morphe, by the way, and it's brilliant. They actually put my face on their website for this palette. I think it was this one, without me even knowing, and someone actually spotted it and was like, oh my god, like, I'm so happy for you, didn't know you was here. And I was like, I literally thought that it was a joke. I was like, me on Morphe website, and I looked and I found it and I was like, thanks Morphe for letting me know. God knows how long it had been there. But yeah, so I'm gonna go in with this one. It's called De Bunte, and I'm just gonna shade towards the center, I think, just to warm it up again. I feel like that has kind of worked. Obviously I've had some fallout, so make sure there's nothing really on this brush, and I'm just gonna wipe under the eye, and then I'm gonna angle it again and just fade this area. Finish my look, obviously I'm going to do my lips, but before that I'm going to do my lashes. So for my lips I'm going to go in with some kind of neutral lip liner, and then I'll probably matte it out. So as usual, starting from the bottom of my lip. So guys, I found the Trophy Wife, I found Trophy Wife by Huda Beauty. Yeah, so I've decided to go in with this shade for now. Normally I'll probably end up changing it, but yeah. I already am thinking, as beautiful as the shade is, do I want this? I just feel like the bland has gone. The bland look has actually just disappeared. So I'm gonna take it off. Sometimes I actually do this, like when I'm wanting to like have a natural kind of look, I'll actually put lipstick on and then I'll take it straight off, because it leaves a kind of stain. I don't know if you can see, but I've literally taken it off and it's left like a nice little, but I actually like the way it looks now, so I am actually liking the way my look has turned out. It's been absolutely ages since I've done a video, and it's been ages since I've done makeup. But yeah, I am really liking this look. I think I'm gonna go and get ready properly, like do my hair and stuff. So guys, this is my finished look. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. So my hair isn't exactly on like point. It's a bit frizzy at the moment, but I really cannot be bothered to get my straighteners out. Yeah, so I hope you get the kind of look I went for. And I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on my next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you would, and also if you guys have any questions or anything like that, then please let me know down below in the comments. Have a lovely week guys, and I will see you on